Welcome back to another detailing video. Today we have I forget the year as always, Toyota 4Runner. The primary service was a wash and wax, but I also touched up the interior, but I didn't get any footage of that since there wasn't much to show, so I'll show it at the very end, just the afters. As you can tell, there's a lot of white textured layered material, whatever, on the paint and wheels. It wasn't paint, like from road paint or anything, because that would have sucked, and it came off relatively easy, as you'll see throughout the video. And for those getting into detailing or even doing this as a business, when working on bigger vehicles like trucks or SUVs, just double the time you think it's gonna take to complete, because it's happened to me so many times where you're like, oh, an SUV, a truck, like it's not that much bigger. It'll end up being very much bigger than what you anticipated. And by the way, all the links to the tools and the products will be mentioned below in the description box, as well as the guides to help you start your detailing business if that's what you're interested in 2020. I'm gonna start off with the wheels, tires, and fenders. Now, it did knock off quite a bit of that white material. It wasn't dirt. Maybe it was dirt mixed in with something, but it wasn't just flat out dirt, unless this dirt is some real special type of dirt. But the pressure washer in itself knocked off a good amount, but once everything dried, you could still see that textured material on the surfaces, so it did need an actual thorough scrubbing. Here I'm using Adams Polish's tire and wheel cleaner, or wheel and tire cleaner, forget which way it's called, diluted 2-to-1 in a Merolex pump sprayer. There's multiple brushes being used from Adams and the Easy Detail brushes. And then the last cleaner I'm using is Super Clean, diluted 10-to-1 in an IK9 non-foam pump sprayer. And of course the pressure washer. That sounded like a lot, it's really not. You can just check down below for all the links to everything that I'm using. And if you couldn't tell, I'm wearing some safety goggles or some safety glasses, which I don't know if they're exactly safety glasses, but they protect my eyes, so I'm gonna call them safety glasses. And when you're using the Easy Detail brush that I use to clean the inner barrel, or like the Daytona Speedmaster or similar brushes, those brushes will sling back the cleaner and brake dust and dirt and nastiness back to your face, body, arms. So it's gonna protect your eyes, your hands. I don't always do the best job of it, but you know, at the minimum, wear something to protect your eyes, because the chances of it coming back to your face is very likely. And throughout this cleaning these four wheels, I actually had to stop quite a bit because the customers were in and out the entire time. So they kept on stopping and talking to me, and you'll find that a lot when you're mobile, more so than shop based, I believe. Just because when you're mobile, you're at their location, they have kids, they have, you know, their family there, so it's much easier for them to come in contact with you as opposed to when they drop off their vehicle. So I'd say at least 15 minutes went, like, just trying to clean the four wheels, went to just talking with the customers, which isn't bad, but just note that that may happen quite often. Next is rinsing down the entire vehicle. The pressure washer I'm using is the Karcher 1700, so it's 1700 PSI. Not the strongest by any means. I upgraded the hose and the gun from obsessedgarage.com, so check that out if you want to see, if you're interested in the gun and the hose that I'm using. And not much to it, you just give it a thorough rinse. Again, the pressure washer did knock off a lot of that material that's on the paint, but once it dried, you could see that there's still a light layer of that whatever it is on the surfaces. Alright, and next up is actually washing the vehicle. So I'm using just one wash mitt from, I think it's Adams or the Rag Company, one bucket, and one grit guard with McGuire's Gold Class wash soap, I believe. And as always, just work from top to bottom. And during the wash process or after, this is what eliminated the rest of that white material that was on the surface. So I didn't need to tackle it with another type of cleaner or an all-purpose cleaner or anything like that. It all came off with this wash process, and it's not like I did anything spectacular or thorough other than just wash the vehicle with some wash soap. So that was very good on my side. And for all you mobile detailers out there, when you're in the driveway, make sure you park the vehicle where it's going to be in your favor. If I move the vehicle up, which it was in the beginning, the sun would have dried everything out. So I moved the vehicle back. That way I have more time before it dries out. And now moving on to the rinsing part, and here I'm literally just rinsing down all the soap that's on the paint. And again, if it was moved forward, the sun was like beaming on the driveway and it would dry out much quicker. And the gas cap wasn't that bad, but still needed my attention, so just super clean the little 10-to-1 with a detail buddy brush. I believe I get confused with the black and red brushes that I'm always using. Just check the description box down below. So just a quick agitation, didn't need much, and then rinsing it down with the pressure washer. Now let's move to the clean phase. I'm using the Nanoskin Clay Mitts, the fine grade, and I'm using for lubrication. I refilled the bucket with soap of the Meguiar's Gold Class, and I'm also using Optimum No Rinse diluted as a clay lube in a pump sprayer, which I don't really add that much just because it's not much that I could add. But so I always did that before claying. But the paint itself, there was almost nothing, so I just flew by it because there was absolutely no texture in terms of signs of like stuck on debris or contaminants on the paint. So the claying process went super quick. Maybe there was a few spots here and there, but nothing that like took longer. So just a quick clay and rinse down. On the drying process, I always go with the two towel drying method. Basically just have one towel that's gonna absorb most of the water, and then the second towel is to wipe down any streaks. I specifically use like a thicker plushier towel for the drying, and then a waffle weave towel for the second pass. But there's no right or wrong answer, just two towels that you like. One to absorb most of the water, the second to remove the streaks. So now instead of going directly to the wax phase, I'm gonna go ahead and just touch up a few areas around the vehicle. So here being the fender and wheels. Look guys, not everyone's gonna be perfect. You're not gonna do a perfect cleaning every time. So you have to go back and touch up some areas on the fenders or the wheels, or wherever you need to touch up. That's okay. You don't have to get everything absolutely perfect on your first pass. You just get the most you can, and where you're gonna shine and really be the best detailer that you can is making sure that you double check all your work so you don't let anything slip by your eyes and then the customer has to see it. So always double triple check your work and touch up where needed. When the door jambs aren't that bad, like in this example here, I'm just gonna use something simple like Optimum No Rinse, or maybe even if it's a tad bit worse, I could just use the the wash soap from the cling phase, dunk a towel in there, wring it out, and then wipe it down and use multiple towels to take off the streaks. The time I'll actually use a brush and all-purpose cleaner and maybe even a pressure washer is like when it's really like caked on dirt. Here, I mean, a quick wipe down is all it really needs. There wasn't much in there. Remember, at this point, I still have to wax the paint, but I'm just getting all these small details out the way. Now, why? I don't know. I just wanted to change it up. No big deal. I'm not, it's not really gonna take an effect on my efficiency. So now I'm just gonna be dressing I already touched up the wheels and fenders again. I cleaned the door jambs, and now I'm applying dressing to the tires and the fender wells. The Adams Polishes tire applicator pad, by far my favorite. With the fender wells, I use Meguiar's Hyper Dressing diluted 4:1, and I'll go around all the vehicles, all the fenders, and I'll just spray the dressing on the fenders and just let it sit there while I dress the rest of the tires. That way, it has time to really work in there and to kind of just kind of drip down across the entire fenders. And here's what I mean. If you can kind of see the fenders right there, I sprayed the hyper dressing, kind of just dripped down. So now that it's sat there for just a few minutes, I come back with a towel, wipe it down, and the fenders are dressed and they're good to go. And now I'm moving the car forward because primarily so you guys can see me apply and remove the wax. If I stayed in the shade, it wasn't gonna look as good. Typically, I would just stay in the shade because there's no reason for me to really burn myself. Since this is just applying wax. But I'm trying out the lithium, I think that's what it's called. It's like the barbecue looking bottles. But as far as the pad, it's the Ober Car Care Red Foam pad. I'm using the G15 from Greet's Garage, their polisher. But honestly, you could use like a standard 8mm throw. You don't want to do this by hand, that would just take too long. But even using a standard 8mm throw, it's gonna fly by. These panels are are basically straight. There's not much curvature into them. It does help to use a 15mm throw, but using a standard 8mm throw, you're still green light, good to go. And just by habit now, I always use a spray wax to remove the wax, just to give it a bit more of a boost and just kind of help it remove it that much quicker. You don't have to. You could use maybe even like a clay lubricant or some type of quick detailer. If you want, I just so happen to use a spray wax. And this is a great example on the rear quarter panel on what the wax does. You can see some micro scratching, swirls in there. And once you apply the wax and remove it, it doesn't look as bad because the wax is hiding it. So that's what the wax does. It's just there to hide the imperfections or the light imperfections. It doesn't remove anything that'll actually require polishing, compounding or polishing. And the last thing to touch up before we're all set to go are the glass and mirrors. I'm using the Adams Polishes glass cleaner with 2 towels. The orange towel is from the Rag Company, and the yellow one is from Adams Polishes. It's a waffle-y type towel. And same concept with the drying process. Is I'm going to use 2 towels. This is the first time I've actually used that towel for glass cleaning, but I want one to do the initial wipe of the glass to remove like the gunk, which at this point there was none because I had already washed it and clayed it, so it was pretty clean. So it was super easy here. But one towel to get the majority of the gunk or get the majority of the cleaning done. The second one to get the streaks off. On the second pass, I might give it just a very tiny, small little spritz of the cleaner just to give it some type of like lubrication there. But other than that, it's one towel majority, second towel to clean up the streaks. And here we are with the afters. It was a wash and wax and a basic interior cleaning, which you'll see some of those too. Of course, there's still, I mean, I didn't remove any swirls and scratches. That wasn't the point. They just wanted to make it shinier and get some protection on it, since they haven't really done that since owning it, as what I was told from the customer. But overall, it came out great. I mean, it's a black vehicle, so once you get it in the sun, it's going to shine. But that's gonna be it for this video. Stick around for the end to see some of the interior shots. If you have any comments, questions, concerns about anything, leave those in the comment section down below. Follow me on Instagram, send me a DM, what have you. Leave some hate or troll if you want. I enjoy all comments. I will see you on the next one.